Hi friends, and welcome back to Gardening Suburbia. My name is Amanda and I'm a gardener here in Zone 6 in Cincinnati, Ohio. Today is a day for harvesting potatoes. So this year I went ahead and I planted way more potatoes than I have in the past. I think the past few years I've done like these 5-gallon buckets, not really buckets, they're fabric planters. Go ahead and show you them. They have these nifty little side patches where you can harvest out of them, but I find that those don't really work that well. And these are those. So these guys I'm not harvesting today because they're not quite ready. The leaves are still quite green, but I do have a lovely patch that is starting to turn yellow and get some browning on the leaves. So this patch right here, we're gonna harvest today. They are my Adirondack blue, which they look purple to me, potatoes, and they're not going to be quite as big as if I had waited for these guys to turn completely brown and get crispy, but I want to get this harvested so I can plant a succession planting of some cucumbers because, well, I mean, my garden is a lot larger this year, so I don't really know where I've planted my cucumbers unless I go back and like look through all of my photos and videos. So I want to get some cucumbers planted here. It is almost July, which is insane. Right now it feels like there's a wet blanket outside with how moist it is. We are expecting rain here in a little bit, and you want to wait to harvest potatoes after they've had a good few days of dry weather. You don't want to harvest your potatoes when they're wet or the soil's wet, only because it increases the chances of those potatoes rotting. So you want that soil to be kind of dry. I'm not going to be washing my potatoes after harvesting. I'm just going to brush the dirt off of them, put them in my basement where it's cool, dark, get a fan on them, let them dry out so that they can cure, and hopefully we'll have a beautiful, I don't know what we're going to get. I'm excited. Potatoes are one of those fun ones where you really honestly don't know what you have until you dig them up. So we've got some blue Adirondack that we need to harvest. I'm hoping to do a garden tour for beginning of July. It's been almost a month and a half, I think, since I've done a garden tour. And as you can see, that's the gobo burdock. That's a medicinal plant, and it's starting to flower, and the bees are just loving these little flowers. But the garden, it's exploded. So let me not get distracted. We need to harvest potatoes because I think it's supposed to rain here in about 30 minutes or so. So it does look like we might have a little ant pile, which there's not any movement right now. But I did see a couple of ants running around in this area, but you guys can see we've got one little potato that is hiding towards the surface. So I'm excited to get in there and see what we've got. All right, first things first, I'm going to move my drip irrigation just out of the way. So these guys are just going to be in these 2 squares here. Maybe I can just go ahead and pull them up. We'll see how that works. And just kind of as I get them out, I'll pop them in my bucket or basket here. I need to grab something to put excess soil in. All right, not sponsored. We've got a bootstrapped farmer tray. These work great not only for plant starting, but also for putting soil in plants. Some soil, because I don't want to waste the soil. So as I'm harvesting these potatoes, there's obviously more efficient ways of harvesting potatoes with like a broad fork or something of the likes. But being that I am a small suburban backyard gardener, I really like getting my hands in the dirt, getting them dirty, and just kind of being outside with dirty hands. I've always been this way. My grandfather used to take us on these long, beautiful hikes through this wooded area by where he lived. And just getting dirty and being a kid and just playing around in the soil is just, I love it. So I'm not doing the most efficient way of harvesting potatoes, but I'm definitely doing the way that is going to really set my kid heart on fire. So you can do it however you please. This is just how I do it. It's definitely some ants. We may only get to this one corner today, simply because I feel like it's starting to drizzle a little bit. Don't really want to harvest potatoes in the rain. I'm trying really hard not to pierce the potatoes with my shovel, but I don't really have a fork, like a broad fork or anything like that or pitchfork to harvest with. This may be all we're getting. So from this one little square, this is what we got. Which isn't too bad. A lot of these really small ones I'm gonna have to like use right away. They won't be any good for storage. But that's pretty good. I'm happy with that for one little square. That's what I got, and I still have this one. I've got 4 different containers over there of potatoes. And then the top layer of my Greenstalk is all potatoes. So I'm pretty excited about that, especially with my suburban garden really not being anything crazy. Like, I do have a couple larger beds, but I'm making do with what the space I have until I can get to a larger area. And right now this is what I can do. So pretty excited about that. So thank you guys for joining me on this little tiny potato harvest. You can go ahead and subscribe to the channel. You'll get to see me use those potatoes in some kind of dish. Don't know what that will be yet, but it'll be a delicious dish. Homegrown, organic. I knew exactly where it came from, how it was grown. That's the beauty of growing something in your own space. You have control of all of those aspects. Plus, you get to get your hands dirty at the same time. So thank you guys for joining me. If you guys want to enjoy any of my other content, I'll go ahead and pop a video up here for you. But until then, thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Even got a row right here.